Joining us now, 103.9 WDKX. He is the principal at UPrep, has been there since the start of the school, came out of retirement to do so. And unfortunately, the times we've had and talked before, Mr. Munno, it has been about recruiting young men to go to UPrep. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well.
I want to get your thoughts on this story that has gotten out. What was, if you can tell me, the reason why a young Mr. Lovett couldn't speak at the graduation for valedictorian?
Well, I can't give you the specifics, Tariq. I remain an old school professional in this business of education. Decisions that are made about students are confidential. Students are, they're young men who belong to people, and I cannot, go out publicly and give details about why things happen here at school. Was there ever a sit down to discuss with him or his parents why he couldn't speak? No. Late in the spring, he made it clear to us that he didn't want to speak.
Looking at the situation now, even he has said that this isn't about black or white. In fairness to you, he said that this wasn't about race. This was about a personal issue with him. How many times have you had a conversation with him to try to get on the same page?
Several times. My impressions of a valedictorian, and let me make this perfectly clear. A valedictorian is the #1 student in a school based on academics, based on being a solid citizen, and based on community service. That exemplifies one student, boy or girl, depending on the school, who stands out above everybody else. So as we evaluated our students, first of all, the academics come first, and Jason had the #1 student academic. And then we looked at all other pieces, and we did name him the valedictorian.
I want to go back to what you said 2 seconds ago because it kind of caught me off guard. You're saying to me that he said he didn't want to speak at graduation?
That's correct. He didn't say that to me. He said that to my director of operations.
That he didn't want to speak at graduation. When did that change? Do you know?
On the night of graduation, he asked if he was going to be able to speak.
So the night before the graduation, he asked if he was able to speak?
10 minutes before the graduation was going to start.
Will we ever know what it was that led to your decision? Obviously, the decision was he didn't want to speak. So the whole time leading up to the day before graduation, you're telling me you had no idea he wanted to speak because he said he didn't want to speak.
That's correct.
So there was never a debate on whether or not he could speak. You were led to believe the whole time up until graduation he didn't want to speak.
That was reported to me very clearly at one of my administrative meetings by my director of operations. Yes, that's true.
But he was the valedictorian.
Yes.
Would you have let him?
I honored him at graduation. I addressed the audience with all of his successes academically. We awarded him with the valedictorian medallion. He just did not present a speech.
Okay, so he didn't present a speech to you for graduation. Would you have let him speak if he did present a speech?
It never got to that issue.
Wow, this is a different take on this story. This is baffling to me. I'm a little baffled now about this whole situation. So it came up at the last minute that he wanted to speak. Programs are set. He wasn't, and you're saying that at that particular moment, at the last minute, it changed from not wanting to speak to speak.
Yes, correct.
So he has to have in the speech prior to, how long prior to would he have had to have his speech in?
In the past, the previous 3 graduating classes, the valedictorian would present to me a draft of his speech. My administrative team would review it, and we would approve it, and then it would go forward.
Let me ask a question a bit about the two of you. He has said that there's been some issues between you not agreeing and seeing eye to eye. Are you saying now that was not a personal? We all know he said it wasn't racial. It wasn't personal against him.
With every student in this school, and I mean every student, I will address one of the big pieces in this school I believe in absolutely are soft skills. How, one of the things I say to all of my young men is we have to learn how to carry ourselves. We open doors. The community out there, UPrep, hopefully, God will, college, those doors will be open to them. And I believe absolutely it's how you carry yourself and how you conduct yourself as a young man. With all boys, when they're inappropriate, they don't do things, when they don't make good decisions, they don't do things right, I address them. I address it with everybody. Those are issues that I'm sure you're talking about, and he's talking about. When he was inappropriate, when there were things that were wrong and needed to be corrected, I do that. I do that with everybody.
So you're fair across the board.
Absolutely.
What has been, and I know there's been a lot of accusations against you from people who don't know you. What would you say to those that have said to you, how could you do this to this young black male who was the first black valedictorian at UPrep, even though I know there's not a lot you can say right now because of the investigation?
Well, no, but what I can say is this, Tariq. The most hurtful piece for me is the racist comments that have come through across this country and locally. I could say this. I did 36 years in the Rochester City School District. I serviced the people of this community, and I believe very well. I retired, but I didn't surrender because I didn't make a difference. I had a great career in the city school district, but my hands were tied so many times by the bureaucracies of public education. That's not a negative about it, that's just what it is. Therefore, my passion came out in terms of what can I do to make a difference. And across this country, the most neediest population in schools are young men and young men of color. Girls are exceeding at a higher rate than they are. They're being suspended from school at a high rate. They're dropping out of school. They're dying. They're going to jail. So I said to myself, this is what I want to do. I'm going to make a difference. I rolled my sleeves up and I created UPrep. In 4 years of graduation, I've graduated 93%, 93%, 98%, and 96%. I'm very proud of that. I did that as a passion, as a mission for young men in this city. And I'm so hurt that people are making racial comments about me. That is extremely hurtful. I want to remind everyone, it was only 2 years ago that the mayor was a keynote speaker at my graduation. And applauded the school and applauded me. So much of what has come down is so hurtful. And I believe, I don't deserve that. I've dedicated my whole life to this community. 46 years I've been working with students in the city.
Mr. Munno, thanks for the time this morning. I appreciate your thoughts on this. I know there's a lot of different places that you could have gone, and we appreciate you coming to DKX to tell your side of the story. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Tariq.